Hello, YouTube. Let me tell you about an interesting page of history which most people don't know about. I find it fascinating. It has to do with the gold of Troy. The Trojan treasure, or as it is called, the treasures of Priam, was found in 1873 by the German archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann. The exhibits were kept in Berlin Museum until 1945, after which they disappeared without a trace. The truth was revealed only in 1993, that is almost half a century after the end of World War II. You see, as a child, Heinrich Schliemann, after reading Homer's Iliad, caught fire with the idea of finding the legendary Troy. Growing up, he went into business, but he did not abandon his hobbies of history and archaeology. Eminent scientists called Henry an absolute dilettante and did not believe that he would actually be able to discover the ancient city. Moreover, at the time, everyone was sure that the Iliad was just a fairy tale. Schliemann, in his search, was guided precisely by its content. Throughout his adult life, Heinrich Schliemann explored Asia Minor in the hope of stumbling upon the coveted Troy, and luck smiled on him. In 1870, he began excavations on the territory of modern Turkey, namely on the hill of Hisarlik. When the remains of the walls began to appear from the ground, Schliemann decided that this was the palace of the Trojan king Priam. After 3 years of work, the German dug up a vessel full of treasures there. Schliemann thought that these things belonged to Priam. The self-taught archaeologist made a mistake, since the city of Priam was actually located in another place. However, his find is still called the treasure of Priam. In a silver vessel with 2 handles turned out to be at least 10,000 different objects: jewelry, tableware, ritual paraphernalia, animal bones, and plant grains. Heinrich Schliemann offered all these things to museums in many countries, in particular France, England, Italy, and Russia. But he received only refusals from everywhere. Russia did not want to accept Priam's treasure because of Schliemann's divorce from Ekaterina Lyzhina, committed contrary to the laws of the Russian Orthodox Church. Anyway, in the end, the German entrepreneur and archaeologist simply presented Priam's treasures to Berlin. During Schliemann's lifetime, in 1882, an exhibition was opened in the Berlin Museum, which was called the Gold of Troy. Heinrich Schliemann died in 1890, and the exhibits continued to delight the audiences until the Second World War. In order to save Trojan valuables and other museum relics, all this was taken from the museum to one of the buildings of the Berlin Zoo. However, in 1945, when Soviet troops entered the city, Priam's treasures were no longer there. They just disappeared. The German authorities repeatedly asked the Soviet Union about the missing treasure, but its representatives always answered the same thing: the treasures were destroyed during the war. Only the death of the former director of the German Museum, Wilhelm Unterfargsagt, shed light on the events that took place in 1945. According to Russian researchers, after Untersagt's death, his wife published letters from her husband, according to which the director, fearing plunder of the exhibits, gave them, including Priam's treasures, to the Soviet side. The valuables were sent to Moscow, where they were kept in the secret funds of the Pushkin Museum for many years. In 1993, Russian Minister of Culture Yevgeny Sidorov had told me that the Trojan treasure has been exported from Germany to the Soviet Union. 3 years later, the gold of Troy was exhibited at the Pushkin Museum for the first time in half a century. So that was the fate and the destiny of the so-called Priam's treasures. And it's just one of the riddles of the World War II and the treasures and paintings and so forth that change hands. I'll bring you more stories about such events later. And if you like my research, please subscribe to my channel. Please support my research in the links you'll find to the description of this video. Please tell others about my work. Thank you.